Would you like to erase the memory of a past relationship? To unburden yourself of the prolonged period of time you spent with someone? Every date, every fight, every gift, every insult, every look and every sound. To soothe the raw nerves that resulted from your disunion. The drawn-out and vague heaviness of what was and what could have been. To unweed the entangled residues of a shared existence. It's a tempting offer, presented in The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, a thoughtful romance movie with a subtle hue of science fiction, introducing us to the recently heartbroken character of Joel. He jumps at the chance to empty himself of the memory of his former girlfriend Clementine. It's an examination of a failed romance, much like the previous movies featured in this series of essays. But today's edition uses its very own narrative structure and realism in order to reveal to us what's the point of a doomed romance.
I'm erasing you and I'm happy! You did it to me first! I can't believe you did this to me!
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind follows a non-linear narrative, much like 500 Days of Summer, and takes a science fiction approach similar to Her, so we can view an aspect of relationships through a novel perspective. All three films are presented as introspective movies, but Eternal Sunshine takes it a step further by building the story as an inwards look at a failed relationship.
You were in that orange sweatshirt that I would come to know so well, and even hate eventually.
We witness the events like someone revisiting their own past memories and trying to make sense of what went wrong. Just like in reality, a relationship doesn't end when two people separate. The relationship lingers in its own afterlife, our minds, a purgatory of unresolved emotions. We revisit old conversations and fixate on the little details and have one-sided discussions with the past to process what happened. Charlie Kaufman, the movie screenwriter, uses the science fiction angle to present the inner emotional aftermath of a relationship in a direct and visually concrete manner. The characters' transition from scene to scene are meant to parallel the malleability of our own way of thinking, how we can easily jump from one emotion or thought to another in an instant. The scene and Clementine are beginning to dissolve. Joel looks around, horrified. He focuses on the rainy window. It starts to rain in the room. Then, a montage of memory fragments. Fragments of memory. Rainy sidewalk with earthworms on it. A little hand picks up a worm. A puddle with raindrops falling in it. A broken rain gutter spouting water. Kids' feet in yellow rubber rain boots. A young Joel giggling and running under an overhang for protection from a sudden rainstorm. The order in which Charlie Kaufman places the memories is purposeful. We revisit the worst memories first, because those are freshly engraved in Joel's mind. We witness every shouting match, every bit of miscommunication, and moments of shared boredom. The order reveals that there is not one specific reason why they broke up. It's a collection of small cracks that cause the relationship to fragment. Later we see the more tender moments, the private pillow talks, the shared insecurities, all the moments that remind Joel of why Clementine was so special to him. The writer shows that the main character suppressed these important moments, and it leads Joel to regret erasing Clementine from his memory.
Can you hear me? I don't want this anymore. I want to call it off!
The same way we inadvertently suppress certain events from our own mind as a coping mechanism.
I'm not a concept, Joel. I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind. I'm not perfect.
Charlie Kaufman set out to tell a story that felt real. He believes Hollywood movies have been very damaging to him and to the general audience by presenting a simplistic and unreal depiction of romance.
I'm always sort of trying to think, well, what is true, and if it's not, true to me, and which is all I know, and then sort of, and try to sort of reject the ideas which come from other movies, which is a very hard thing to do because you often don't know that your ideas of a scene or a relationship come from movies, not from your real life. You have to sit down and go, wait a minute, why are these two people acting like this? It doesn't have anything to do with what I understand. And so I try to sort of find those things, take them out, and put in things that I understand. And
he wanted to offer a different interpretation closer to his own experience. That's why he altered his normal style of writing dialogue and opted for a more naturalistic feel.
I would thought I would remember you.
It might be the hair.
What might?
It changes a lot, the color. So that's why you might not recognize me.
It doesn't follow the same rhythm of his other work. It's awkward, mumbled, hesitant, and overlapped. It's also noticeable in the filmmaking. The colors seem tamed and washed out. The lighting is underlit and dim, or contrasted by unflattering harsh lights, painting the characters with a heavy coat of ordinary. The characters are intentionally normal and filled with flaws. Joel is an introvert stuck in a shell of internalization. Clementine is an unfiltered extrovert that feels the need to constantly challenge herself and others.
I wouldn't think that about you.
Why wouldn't you think that about me?
I don't know, just...
Together they form a contradictory couple. Perhaps in another movie, their differences would be used as quirks that would help the characters grow out of their mutual flaws. But in reality, we're much more complex than that. Not all opposite traits become complementary in a relationship. They often stay as incompatibilities we would much prefer to keep masking. The science fiction elements are downplayed and kept at a mundane level. The Lacuna office that Joel visits to get his memory erased looks like an unimpressive dentist office, and so is the staff and the clunky tech they use for the procedure. The sci-fi element is only meant to magnify the ordinary. The reason everything is made to look normal is so it can feel familiar, so we can relate to the characters and the relationship, and not get distracted by the how in the story, but focus on the why.
Pages ripped out. Don't remember doing that. It appears this is my first entry in 2 years.
The writer makes the interesting decision of structuring the story as a loop. 500 Days of Summer also does something similar by starting with the end, but here it's used as a sleight of hand meant to make you believe that this is the first time the characters are meeting. It's only until we're close to the end that we realize that what we saw in the beginning is actually the day after Joel gets his mind erased. But this loop is not used as a simple mechanism to create a twist. It allows the audience to experience the second meeting without any of the emotional baggage of the initial relationship. Just like the characters, we get to feel their clean slate. We believe this is a newly formed couple, but it's actually the second chance Joel fought hard to preserve. However, this clean slate is tainted by the actions of a jilted Lacuna worker that sends out the private audio cassettes of their clients' pre-procedure interviews.
I've been thinking lately how I was before and how I am now, and it's like he changed me. I feel like I'm always pissy now. I don't like myself when I'm with him. I don't like my...
Joel and Clementine listen in on their past selves, describing in toxic detail what they hated about being in the couple.
I think she's so desperate and insecure that she'll sooner or later go around fucking everybody.
They can't stand each other's hurtful monologues, as it opens up old wounds they didn't even know they had. It makes them realize this is what they could become if they stayed together. Two bitter people, filled with anger and resentment.
I can't see anything that I don't like about you.
But you
Right
will.
now I can't.
But you will.
Although they know what might be waiting for them down the road, right now, they're not those people yet.
And I'll get bored with you and feel trapped because that's what happens with me.
Okay.
We're left with an open possibility, a second chance taken, but a loop continuing. An even risk of repeating the good memories with the painful ones. This story isn't about will they end up together. It's about the importance of what we live in a relationship, the memories we should keep, despite of the pain, the lessons learned from the struggle, so we can avoid the endless loop of a doomed romance. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We invite you to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Today's musical composition was made by Eduardo Gonzalez. Check out his information down in the description if you like his work. In celebration of reaching over 100,000 subscribers, we decided to make a new addition to the first series of essays we started over a year ago. Thank you for being interested in our content. Until next time.